Thank you, Professor Juha, to share your experience, to show your tricks. It's very, very useful for us.
I closed my presentation now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can make questions or.
Okay. We have some question from chat. Before I will read, but before this question, I have some question for you. As you showed us LSO approach, also I like very much LSO approach, and I am using every day my daily life. But what do you think for rupture cases? Sometimes when I use LSO approach and when brain is swelling, you could not find enough space to reach in basal cistern, and sometimes maybe you need to open sylvian phrygm from distal to proximal to relax brain. For rupture cases, you are recommending LSO approach always?
I have used always, but like I said, it depends on your experience. When you are young and your surgeon don't have very large experience, then you should make a bigger flap.
Okay.
And you should not compete with small flaps. You see in the Facebook or LinkedIn, you see that somebody is going to 1 inch or 2 centimeter opening. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
So it is nonsense. You should not compete how small you can do the opening. By me, it is small, but I have done more than 6,500 aneurysms, so I can be called rather experienced neurosurgeon. Or you can nowadays you can seldom find somebody who has done more these operations, but do your own way. What you are used, so that you are safe. You should have a good feeling, like going home. When you go to aneurysm, I'm always afraid of operation. Before the operation, when I'm washing my hands, I look, my eyes are afraid. But when I make my incision and then I get the microscope in my mouthpiece, then I'm like going home. I tell Juha, you have done this thousands of times. Just relax and do well. But I'm always afraid. If somebody is saying I'm not at all afraid, he's not doing a good job. He's a butcher. So you have to have the tension in the operation. Then you take it seriously. Every operation, then you take it serious. I think this belongs to surgery. Neurosurgery, good neurosurgery, that you are somehow have some stress, and so then you are doing your best for the patient, because the most important person in the operation room is the patient, not you or somebody important person. Patient is the most important, and we have only one time. So like late Professor Drake, we wrote in the book of vertebral basilar aneurysm, very nice sentence. If we only could have back the second chance for those who were lost or severely hurt. With that, what we have learned in operation room, I think this is extremely important sentence, because usually we don't have any luck in neurosurgery. It's wrong to say good luck for the operation, but if somebody is saying, we pray for your hands, this is good saying. I like it, because then they understand. It is not luck, it is experience and concentration and doing your best for the patient, because usually you have only one chance. You can, of course, argue that sometimes you have 2 chances. You can go and correct your wrong clip position, the patient didn't die, but this is also dangerous. So this is very important. Make your own approach. Don't listen what the world around you is saying. Make the approach that is best for you, because you have done it many times. This is Like Professor Asarki came to Helsinki, he was telling me how to do the operation, but I didn't listen. I didn't listen because I had my own experience. I had my own experience, and it was my patient. Professor Asarki said, "I'm silent I'm like your shadow." But in 5 minutes he was speaking and giving advice, but I didn't listen. I didn't hear anything because I was concentrated and doing my job for my patient. I operated in front of him, first a young girl with carotid bifurcation aneurysm, and then the next case I showed him also basilar bifurcation case. This was, I made very quickly, and Professor Yasaki made big eyes because I had done many and I was good in that. And my strength was that I was always operating the patient in my mind or in my sleep, or somehow I planned the operation so in my brain. Where is the operation done? The surgery is done in the brain of the operator. Not, I have clumsy hands and thick fingers. So when I write with the cellular, so I press several buttons. I'm clumsy in that, but in surgery room I'm good because I have micro instruments. I'm not going with my hand in such crowd. So use your own opening, which you are used. I think this is important because this is your self-confidence as a surgeon. You are serving the patient at the best way when you are doing the same way, repeated. So this is my thinking. LSO I have done since 80s. Why I began to do LSO? Because I had one young lady had MC aneurysm ruptured. Then other side she had bilateral MC aneurysm. Beautiful lady serving in restaurant. She had rupture. Then I operated 2 months later. The unruptured aneurysm. She was smoking, was a wild girl, like we say, and the post-op angios looked perfect. It was in Eastern Finland. 5 years later, she came again with subarachnoid hemorrhage. What happened? She developed in the pericallus artery. She developed a new aneurysm, de novo aneurysm. And when I saw this patient 5 years later, she looked terrible, this beautiful young lady, because she had terrible muscle atrophy, the temporal muscle. So I decided I'm not serving the patients well with this big opening, which I read in the books and was opening the temporal muscle very much. So you get big temporal muscle atrophy when you do that way. So I was beginning to do one layer flap and cutting as little as possible the temporal muscle. So cosmetic results were by far better, and it was very fast. Like you saw in one film, there were times. This was a Turkish fellow who was doing this video, so he put the times. I timestamp it. 4 aneurysms were operated in 1 hour. So it was very fast because the opening is, I'm opening the dura in less than 10 minutes already. And then closing takes more time because you have to be closed always under microscope. This one I couldn't teach in China. They didn't understand. But we closed always with microscope. The nurses were saying when I became chairman in Helsinki, this is nonsense to close under microscope, but all the people who were my fellows, they were doing that. In 3 months, you learn to close with microscope, and this giving very good cosmetic results. But this was the
skin. Even skin and muscle under the microscope.
Yeah, opening, sometimes opening, reoperations always opening under microscope because there is scarring. And so I was also opening many times under microscope. But the microscope is mobile because you have mouth switch, so it is when you are always when you have learned something, you may say that this is easy. It's not so easy. There is nothing that is easy in neurosurgery. And if you say this is easy case, even my mother would do it. So you may lose the patient. If you see simple MCA aneurysm, so it may be like paper thin wall, and then suddenly ruptures and blood is coming out, and we are occluding the vessels and trying to. So everything can happen. Also, there are complications which you cannot accept. I operated one young female. She came from gym, training gym. She had 3 children, but she was going to gymnastics and training, and she came in tricots. I operated on her and ruptured MCA aneurysm. It was splendid operation, beautiful. But what happened? The 3rd or 4th day after operation, she was found dead in the restroom. Why? Pulmonary embolism. Also, those patients are dying. Even you can say that it was not my fault, but you have to discuss with the family, children, these things. It is the same, shit happens. No shit happens. The complications happens because your planning is not good. It is not luck. So you have to know the anatomy and train and train and train and do hard working. This is the way. But I always, at the new year, I always decided this year I will have no complications. And they came end of January, beginning of February. So you cannot operate a lot of cases without complications because you always make, even the best ones make errors. And they, like when you get older, and like now I lost my team in China. I had a good teams in my operation room. 2 Chinese scrub nurses, they were very good. And then Hugo from Venezuela, he was 12 years with me, anesthetist from Indonesia, Ajmal from Germany, and then some Chinese. But when pandemics came and there was lockdowns in Bangkok, 25 million people were locked down. And when Ukrainian war began, then I couldn't return to China. I should be working in China. I had 3 years more. And now I think this out, surgeries are out for me. So I can only show these videos and smile for my beautiful fellows and who were hardworking, and these are memories. So this is sometimes we always see the end of our career. So someday we will stop. Professor Yasaki is 97 now. He's no more operating, but he's still writing books. I don't want to write any more books on brain surgery. If I write something, I write something else. But maybe I have had, I'm told in the newspapers when the people are discussing my life, I'm told this man, he had no life, has been only working, and he was not taking care of the family. And this is not true. This is not true. This is not true. I had extremely good life, even I was working hard. So I think this is important. I had very good life. I saw the world, and the world was coming to me. So I became better when so many people came to ask me, give advice. Like many Turkish people came to Helsinki. I had many Turkish fellows, and I saw president. I saw at the beginning Emel Apsi. She was in Helsinki. Isaac Karatas was in Helsinki, and then many others. So I liked it very much. I learned very much. I benefited maybe more than the fellows who came or visitors, because I was listening after the operation. I was explaining what I had done, and I had many questions, and I was explaining always. So this was bilateral learning. Yeah.
Thank you.
Something else. It's late. But if you have questions, I'm not getting tired to answer. Okay.
No, we have question. We have some question from
I'm
from
ready
our,
to answer.
Jacob,
yeah.
Can you excuse me?
Sure.
Let's do like this. Please read some questions and comments.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I will
I'm going.
give floor to someone, etc. Okay.
I'm going to read. Yeah. We have some question. One question is from Denis Nerdenian. He's from Almanya, from German. From Almanya is Germany, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dear Hassan, Almanya, he's from German. He says, can the professor please repeat the ideal length of the clip according to the neck width at the end of the presentation? He's asking, what's your opinion about clip length?
It's not opinion. It's not opinion. It's a geometry. It's geometry. Yeah. If you measure the base of the aneurysm, so the clip must be 1.5 times longer. If the base of the aneurysm is 10 millimeters, then the clip must be 15 or 16 millimeters. If it is 20 millimeters, the clip must be 30 millimeters, and so on. So 1.5, this is
ideal
geometry from the circle. So this half of the P.
Okay.
P. And I was not good in geometry, but this one I understood. When you have a circle, so that's P. So the clip to treat with open microsurgery, the clip must be 1.5 times longer than the base of the aneurysm, because it's compressed, so it is getting longer. It's like a ball, you make it flat, so it is getting 1.5 times bigger. This is Dr. Drake told me, and I believed him, but I have also understood why it is 1.5. It should be 1.6, but the aneurysm has some wall. So when you put 1.5 times clip, so the wall is compressed there. But it is of course better to have a little bit longer clip. But the disadvantage is that if you put the long clip, then you may occlude arteries, perforators on the faraway side. If you operate on big aneurysm, you put a very long clip, you think this is good, then you may close some important arteries behind the big aneurysm. So this is very important. You have to, like in basilar deep aneurysms, or you have to see all the surroundings. Like I said, if you take one perforator, like I showed the coiled German case, so I think we did very nice surgery. We were very happy and proud, but one perforator was taken. And the patient remained. People didn't die, but was not able. He was very crippled when he came, but he was worse after surgery. One perforator was taken. We should see all the surroundings and be very careful. So in the earlier times, when I was resident, so it was different surgery. Of course, we have developed, we became better. Teacher, the thing is that the younger generation should be always better. I think it's happening. It's happening. I have done a lot of surgeries, but then I see excellent cases in the done by far younger neurosurgeons than me nowadays, and so it is. Sometimes you have to think. You should step aside. I was not ready 2015. I was not ready. I was I was hooked in surgery, so I went around the world 7 years. But now I'm ready. I'm done. So I take a Newfoundland dog and read and look TV and films and make connect the world and so. But I have done my surgeries. Why? Because I lost my team. I lost my team. Those beautiful girls in the operation room, those Finnish girls. So they got children, they have own family, they can no more travel, and then came new ones, the same happened. So you have to have a team around you. You cannot go alone to operate a difficult case, giant aneurysm, basilar bifurcation aneurysm. In endovascular, this is easier, but one of the drawbacks is that you have no follow-up. When you go somewhere in foreign countries and you push something inside the arteries, and everybody's happy what happened. But it is very difficult to follow up if you go around the world and push coils and stents inside. So there's no follow-up. So there's a lot of wrong information in the social media, because you publish it the first day after operation, then maybe next time, so 2 months after the operation, you will see. Even in open microsurgery, when we followed up the patient, I saw recurrences 15 years later. One case we operated with Professor Yasaki. The first case I mentioned was a young girl with carotid bifurcation aneurysm. That was media and press were there interviewing professor, and I made beautiful surgery. What happened? 7 years later, this girl is coming, young lady is coming with terrible headaches. She had a giant aneurysm at the same place developed there, so some kind of vascular abnormality. But you should never say that I have no complications or recurrence. I operated this patient again, very complicated operation, had good result. But I said in the reports, I said, this will come back. So we have to control carefully, because this artery is weakened. So we have to think that way. I know very well Turkey is a big country, and somebody's coming from the eastern part of Turkey to be operated on in Istanbul. So it is very difficult to follow up those cases.
We have nowadays protocol like we have protocol like 6 months, 1 year, 5 year follow up for every case, clipping or an embolization.
This is very good, honest. This is good. This is not done. This is not done.
Even we are calling for patients if he or she is not coming.
This was my thinking in China. I had many ideas when I went to China, but China is different. I had the idea that we make a randomized study, and then we had the idea that we hire 2 or 3 nurses who are calling every patient, because in China, like in all around the world, everyone had the cellular, so you can call them. But I was wondering, like in Nepal, I was wondering how they can have a cellular if they cannot treat. But a friend was doing the connections, and then they had the cellular. This is the cellular makes it possible to follow up the patients. So if the patient is alive and answers, so you can put in your database that the patient is alive and answering. But like I said, one of the most difficult things what I have experienced in my life, and hardest thing, is to make a database. In Helsinki, there was one young female. She was in the last video with music. She was doing 7 years. She sacrificed 7 years and a lot of her life to make a Helsinki database. At time, 6 1,000 patients or something. And then now the young refugee from Iran, the family left Iran when Khomeini came in power. So he's my last PhD student. He's doing the giant posterior circulation analysis PhD. This will be a great book because this is the biggest collection of them, more than 500 cases of this huge giant analysis posterior fossa. So he's my last PhD student, and I was many times also in Iran to operate on, but the politics and world is different. So usually the regular people are very nice. In Turkey, I felt also very nice and good service and could do good surgery in Cerrahmassa hospital where I was operating on. I was not operating in any other places, but in Turkey, except Cerrahmassa hospital in Istanbul, because Richard Astin, my fellow, was there, so he was organizing and helping every day. But I have been in many places, Ukraine and Russia, operated in Latin America. So yes. How I could do that? I took my team with me. The girls, the scrub nurses were coming, anesthetist was coming, my assistant was coming, and I had my instruments there. And we went, the girls, scrub nurses went inside the operation room, wherever they were, they organized similar setting like home. It was like home game. I felt safe with these people. And then the local team was helping and joining them. My scrub nurses were good. They gave respect to the local team. This is very important. This is very, very important. There was no fighting, except once as a male nurse in Iran. So he couldn't tolerate a female is giving advice to him. They began to fight. So I said, I cannot operate if there's fighting in operation.
Okay.
Professor, sorry, one of your good friends is here with us. I want to hear his opinion without too late.
He's a very good neurosurgeon and a very good friend, Nikolais from Greece, from Thessaloniki.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Uğur Türe. Okay.
Okay, maybe Uture. I just wondered that you wanted to give him.
Yeah.
Maybe Professor Uture.
Yeah.
You have 10 o'clock already, or
Professor Ture, you can turn on your microphone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Juha. It's another historical lecture from you. We learn a lot, and I can see many cases, many complicated cases. That's how you are managing. I thank you so much for all you have done in neurosurgery and all you have done for us as your student, and I congratulate you. It was excellent lecture. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Uğur. Thank you very much. Thank you.
May I say something?
Yes. Second question is from Greece.
Good evening from Thessaloniki, Greece. It's a great pleasure and a great honor to participate in İzmir online neurosurgery dialogue. It's a great pleasure to see Professor Hernesniemi. Also, my dear friend, Professor Ture, I always remember him from the Turkish neurosurgical courses and the World Federation Congress, great event in Istanbul, or in Constantinopolis, as we say in Greek. And also great friends such Jakob and Erkin and the other guys. I want to ask gently, Professor Hernesniemi, one small thing. Now that in Europe we have these legal changes, how, you know, once upon a time, 20 or 30 years before, you operate good, very good. We learn from your books, your videos, such as also from Professor Touré. No, but we are changing. We have legal problems. How is this the contribution with performing surgery in vascular pathology, and perhaps the legal issue? This one question. The other question is the famous question. There is some combination between weather changes and vascular pathology. When we have September, October, or maybe April or May, we see many cases instead of the other months of the year. This is there are some works that correlates the weather time and the vascular pathologies, brain pathologies. These two questions. Another third, maybe I make a long discussion. I'm sorry about that. How many cases has a young neurosurgeon such as Jakob, me, and other? How many operations has to make until he has to be sure about his skills, his neurosurgical skills, about aneurysms, if there is a number? Thank you very much. Great honor to participate. Thank you very much.
How many operations in the first books of Professor? It was said you have to do 100 operations because you are good. But I think it is not enough. You have to do 500 or 1,000. Then you have seen everything. Then you have enough experience. So it is a big number nowadays. It's very difficult to get big numbers nowadays because there are many like small clinics, or not even small clinics, but not so many other cases are coming. And the times are changing. Like in Helsinki, they are now doing 65% endovascular. It's nearly the same than in China, Chengzhou, when I was working. So only the poor people or people without insurance had open surgery out of those 1,300 patients a year with cerebral aneurysm. So it was not actually medical indications. How to learn nowadays? I think there's always pressure around you, and you are stressed. That, like I told you, I'm always afraid. What I wrote into my memories, it begins with 2 cases in China. I'm going to scrub, washing my hands, have my mask, and I see my eyes full of fear. And then I get a surgical gown and prepare for operation, and then I make the incision, and then I have the microscope in my mouthpiece. Then I release and relax, and I feel that I have done it thousands of times. You have just go down and do it. It is like going home. I open the head. There's a lot of advertisement that all over the world. It is dangerous to open the head. If it is dangerous to open the head, you should do something else. You should do really something else, to do endovascular or psychiatry or neurology or something. And one of the things I didn't mention, or maybe in the last lectures, if you have tremor and it doesn't disappear, so you should think also that when you are getting older, and you have many, when your brain is cooking, so you should concentrate for the surgeries, because this is only one time. It's extremely important. It's not so that the patient died, let's take a new patient. This is the old saying that I heard as a resident. The patient died, let's take a new patient. this is nonsense. This is you should not have that kind of attitude. And I think also the dirty jokes about the patient, that again the patient died. You should be very seriously respecting the patient. This is our profession. You should be very serious, take very good care of the patients and respect the human life, whatever is your religion or your attitude, because
Yes.
Because life is in our hands, and this is totally different. Those who are doing parachute jumping, they say that you get good kicks and you have the flow situation to do brain operation. So you feel many times. We had this, like I was told, terrible music running in the operation room. Why? It was relaxing the people there, so they were not so. It was not so tight, so they were relaxed surgery, but we were doing seriously and good the surgery. So I think this is very important that all the team understand. This is very important that we are a team and we are doing good surgery, and we are a team, and we are like in Finland we are playing ice hockey. At one time there are 6 players on the ice. And this all the sports is the same. Volleyball, football, soccer. So it is the team. If you lose 1 or 2 members of the team, then you are losing. So it is extremely important. You have to have a good cooperation with your team, and you have to know what the team is doing. You have to trust the team. If there's a weak member in the team, gossiping, hurting the surgeries, and not respecting the patient, then you are not doing good surgery. This is my thinking. So work hard, serve the people. This is my motto. Not. Thank you. I don't belong to any church, but I respect life and work hard, serve the people. So this is. I have been asked what is the meaning of life. I cannot answer this question, but for me the answer is work hard, serve the people, because we are here together with our other people. So how is our life? We are born without memory, and then we suddenly die, surprised. The life was so short. So this is how it goes. And I can still remember extremely well my first days in neurosurgery. It was June 1973. I came to neurosurgery after Zurich Brain Research Institute. So I can remember them like yesterday. So the time is flying. Like the anatomy is the biggest thing. So it is biggest thing. So I still don't feel that I'm very good in anatomy after such a big number of operations. So this is something. And one thing I understand, that one day my mother-in-law died with 103 years 2 days ago. So one day it will be finished. One day it will be finished by everyone. One day we are doing worse now. Performance. This morning I made my team. I was very happy that I could do so well, and I can do handstand, but I don't have any team to operate. So you have to operate continuously. I think everyone here, I see Ugur Ture is excellent neurosurgeon. He is operating all the time, taking very seriously. But if you have a long break, then you will be difficult to operate on. So like in the isolation of China, I had long breaks. And even when operating a lot of cases in Finland, Helsinki, when I had three weeks summer holidays, I was afraid to come back. But then the nurses, girls were saying, you can do it. And then I did. So even when I was in Miami, as a fellow with Drake and Peerless, doing the vertebrovascular book, I was not operating on 1 year, except in my brain. I was not allowed to touch the patients, but I was operating all the cases of Professor Drake and Peerless in my brain. So I went to Kuopio, Eastern Finland, back home. First case was giant MC aneurysm. I had good team there. I didn't hesitate, but now I would hesitate, like I hesitate to go. There's pressure from the surroundings. Always when I operated basilar tip aneurysm, all the people were speaking around. I didn't listen. But when operation went well, there were so many people involved in the surgery, but when you had complications, then you were the only one who was in the operation. So this is our nature. So beautiful operation, difficult case, 20 people were involved, telling, yeah, we did good surgery, but when you had complication, patient was lost or badly hurt. So there's no one who has been there. So this is how it is. I say that this is extremely stressful. I remember when Professor was saying that. I understand Professor Yasaki's position because he was the pioneer and first one. And then all the world was coming to see and was even arguing with him. Like my chairman in Helsinki, he went to Zurich in the maybe 1970. He was not enthusiastic about microscope or microsurgery. I cannot understand because he was an intelligent man, but maybe they didn't have good relationship with Professor Yasaki. He couldn't understand that. It took some 4 years. We had the microscope in Helsinki, so I have seen also operations without microscope. But when I was searching for a place to learn to operate a lot of cases like Professor Yasaki to become a great professor. So I went to Sweden, Uppsala, great academic center. So the oldest or most experienced neurosurgeon was saying that really good neurosurgeons can operate without microscope. So I thought this is not my place. So then I went to Eastern Finland where then CT came and then later MRI came. So we found a lot of cases and we were only 2 neurosurgeons, so we could operate a lot of cases there with Dr. Vapalahti. So it was hard times because you were beginning. The surgeries took by far longer, and in the first year, so I was reading and learning, and then after one operation, I had to go to home to take a nap, and then I could return back to hospital. And then I could do the last years, like in the film, I could do 6 or 7 operations in one room with a good team. But yeah, these were good times, excellent times, and good memories. So I have been told so many times in the interviews and now in TV when my memories came out that this man has had no life. He didn't take care of the family. But this is not true. Not true. My children have good memories that I was with them. Even they said that I'm never sleeping because I went early to the hospital and come late, but in the weekends, and we had good time. We had a wonderful dog, and we had wonderful summer house, and we had swimming, and so this has been good life. I'm very happy and proud about my life and about my children and what I have done. So these difficult times have been there, but one of the important things in your surgery is to never give up. If you have difficulties, you are losing the patient or badly, like the Professor Drake was writing and saying that if we could do a second chance for those who were lost or badly hurt, with that what we have learned in operation. This is a wonderful sentence because we develop all the time. We get more and more experience, and we are doing better and better surgery. We've seen Ugur to do beautiful surgery. So this is the surgery you cannot image. So young generation is always getting better, and you should support them. This is very important. You should not tell running like that they are not getting better. You should support them, because when you get older, you can be proud of your students, your fellows, because they became better. This is very important. This gives you good feelings. And I have many people around the world which came to Helsinki and connect me with emails and tell that they have been looking on the videos and millions of views in the videos. So this is maybe my best achievement, 1001 videos, but also opening always myself. This one I learned from Professor Jasper. So always preparing the patient yourself, not like in China. Hugo was opening for me. I thought this is terribly difficult, because to go ready, like I thought that I'm always afraid of the operation. So somebody's opening ready for you, then you go directly to the announcement. This was the way in London, Ontario. So yeah, the fellows were opening, and then Dr. Drake was coming, smoking his pipe, and then just came and clipped the aneurysm and went happy out without much saying much there. But that way also the patients may suffer. I saw in London, Ontario, for example, I saw that some very arrogant guy was opening, and he was speaking with the scrub nurse, and then slowly his neck became red, and he was not finding the pericles artery aneurysm, and then he was destroying both cinguli, and then finally he had to call Dr. Drake to come, and Dr. Drake scrubbed, and then in 15 minutes he found the aneurysm. Why? Because corpus callosum is white, cinguli is gray. So the guy was following callosal marginal arteries, not pericles artery. This is to know the anatomy. I think Professor Yasaki has said that we should be like turtles. We should have 200 years. And this was what my teacher in anatomy, late Professor Giant Dundry, was saying, that medical study is a lifelong study. And to learn anatomy even more. This is certainly extremely true sentence. And, so we are never ready, but one day we might do something else. I think if you retire very young, you didn't do your best, but somehow we have to find the limit how long we can do or want to do, or how long you are interested in these things, because there are, of course, the world is big and there are many things. Like I had a call from Samarkand. What is Samarkand? This is one of the oldest cities in the world. That was the Silk Road from China to Europe. I have been there in my first holidays for the neurosurgery. I went to Middle Asia. I was in Samarkand and Uzbekistan, Tashkent, Kyrgyzia. I saw the old culture there, and now it is changed. The world is changed, politically changed totally. So we have to think different. Like in Finland, we are building a fence against Russia. I have been good friends, neurosurgical friends in Russia and Ukraine, and now they are making war. And so it is regular people are regular people. I suppose. Be involved in politics, but I'm very unhappy about this war coming to close to us, and actually it stopped my neurosurgery because there are things which are stronger than one small neurosurgeon. One regular neurosurgeon, there are things which are stronger than we. We cannot manage everything. So I cannot fight against China pandemics policy. If they close the city, then it is closed. Like Shanghai was more than 2 months, 25 million closed in their homes, and you cannot go there because now the Chengzhou, my city, is closed also. People are escaping, the foreigners are escaping from China now, and they are not letting the young people go abroad. There are extremely good neurosurgeons in China, like Subin has done more than 10,000 bypasses. Extremely effective team in Huashan Hospital. I was there to see. His record is 17 bypasses in one day with his team, but he's traveling from room to room. He's a wonderful person and young person. He came many times to Helsinki and he was asking many questions, what to do, how to do. I was telling that always answer everyone's email or letter immediately wherever she or he is coming, and be kind, taking care of those visitors. This is how it is. And many people are asking where to go. I say Istanbul is a good place. There's Uber Pure is there doing good surgery. And then I say USA is a good place. Ali Christ is doing that surgery. Then there are that kind of big like Barrow, certainly excellent, but there are so many people, so it might be difficult to have some publications, and so you have to find your own place. What is your goal? What is your goal? If you want to be El Condor Pasa, to fly the highest, then you have to have goals, and you might not fly as high as this eagle, but you will come very close. This is your goal. And one thing is sure that you will get better than the old generation. Like that's big difference. Big difference.
Great words. Great words.
Yeah.
Great words.
Yeah. This is the meaning of life, is to fly high, to have a goal in your life. I was asking TV that what is the meaning of life? I cannot give better answer that work hard, serve the people, because we remain similar. We are all human beings and we should serve the people, do good surgery, and take care of the unique situation, what is brain surgery, neurosurgery. We can fail, but in most cases we are doing well.
Okay, I will read some comments. We have some comments from Shilan Ildirim, a fifth-year med student at İzmir Katip Çelebi University. It was a great pleasure to learn such hard subjects from your Professor Hernesniemi. Thank you very much. From Pinar Ozishik, great presentation, great team. Thank you. Elshan from Azerbaijan, incredible lecture. Ebru Güzel, thank you a lot for very nice presentation. Ebru Güzel, from Ebru Güzel, if you have a very edema, what do you do after aneurysm or AVM surgery? Dr. Selin Bozdak, Evsom team, Evsom cases, thanks for sharing your wisdom and experience.
I made acute surgery. That was very heavy, red angry brain, like you said, red angry brain, swelling out. We had extremely good anesthesia. I don't know their tricks, but they are written in the Helsinki Microneurosurgery book, but they didn't tell everything. But then, when the brain is red, angry swollen, I go down, I go to lamina terminalis, open the lamina terminalis, open the basal systems also, iliac disc membrane. So I go to lamina terminalis and push, at the end of the operation, I push a very thin catheter inside, basically catheter inside. And then after that, I can measure the pressure and drain CSF out of that. So I think this is what I was doing. So I was always successful to go down, even the brain was strong edematic. I was never fighting with my anesthetists because they were so good. They were so good that slack brain. This gives you a lot of possibilities to do good surgery.
If I have time, dear Hassan, I have one question.
Yeah.
Have I time?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We have no time restrictions.
Professor Hernesniemi, as we know, everyone nowadays, microsurgical experience is getting less and less. But I think nowadays solution is all neurosurgeons, all young neurosurgeons should perform both surgery, like endovascular and open surgery. For example, personally, I'm doing both. As you know, and as I told you, from until 2015 with Professor Schmidek, we start in my hospital open surgery. Nowadays, I performed personally more than 300 open surgery, but also I start 3 years ago endovascular surgery. It gives me chance to prepare which cases is better for clipping. For example, nowadays I can change approach all MCAs for clipping. For example, if patient is elderly, old patient, subarachnoid hemorrhage, if dome and neck ratio is very good, coiling is extremely easy. If you compare microsurgery, it's extremely easy. Maybe it takes just half hour. Patient is awake, or maybe also I have some cases when you say that endovascular surgery has some benefits. For example, 1 year ago we had bilateral MCA, young patient, and both severe fissure patient had subarachnoid hemorrhage. It was very, very difficult to say which one is a rupture one. And we did both bilateral embolization in same section, and patient was very good. And also, as you know, in USA, so many neurosurgeons is doing nowadays like hybrid way, also in Europe. And maybe it's solution to divide like half 50% for clipping to will not lose our skills. What do you think about it?
That I will not do endovascular. This is my answer. My time is over. I will not learn endovascular surgery, but it might be a good idea. But the number of cases depends also on the time when you are doing something. So if it is deep in the night, then you do endovascular. If it is daytime, you might do with your good team, you might do open surgery. I had extremely good team. I can tell that we were operating giant basilar bifurcation aneurysm. It was a 40 years old male, giant basilar bifurcation aneurysm, ruptured 3 times on Monday, 3 ruptures. So I was saying to my scrub nurse, Hanna-Lena, what we are doing. She said, operate. So we began the operation around this time now, before 11 o'clock, and then we were ready 2 o'clock. So some people are so that they say that let's do the work, then we can go home. And then some people are drinking coffee and looking at the watch and when they can go home. So they are not eager to do. But I had many young people and scrub nurses who were saying, let's do the thing and then we can go home. So that's why I say that there's a lot of things that make it. It depends also on how many aneurysms you get. Like in Chengzhou, you had 1,300 or 400 aneurysms a year. And it depends also on the patients. The Chinese patients, they were so much afraid of opening of the head. And this was increased because you get some bonus for the one who was doing the surgery, get some bonus, some money. Yeah. Money for the surgery. So it was competition, it was not medical thing. So the
also hospitals are interesting in endovascular surgery.
In Chengzhou, there are two biggest hospitals of the world: University Hospital with more than 10,000 beds, and my hospital was Henan Provincial People's Hospital, around 7,000 beds, and then always patients in the corridors and outside of the rooms, and so huge number of cases. So this depends on the hospital, but the Henan province was the biggest hospital, biggest province in China, 110 million, 130 million people. So it is huge number of cases and different levels of money. So it is it's not actually communist country. This communistic party is taking care of everything, but at the new year they say that have a good new year, become rich, and this is the philosophy in China. This is a strong country and restricted country now, and it's very. I will go in February to get my last year's salary there. I will go 2 times, first time and last time, because now that the situation will become very difficult now. There's war in Russia and China is strong and observing the situation. So I just want to have my salary and take my stuff from my flat there where I have been living. It's nice. They were nice people, like usual regular people are nice everywhere in the world. So it is, okay, you can manage everywhere with the regular people. But I will go to China. But, I take my. They cannot send my salary to the China bank. I have to go personally. I wouldn't go, but it is their law. Is I have to go with my passport and go personally to China bank and then send my money to Helsinki, Finland. So last year's salary. So it is good money for me. I need that. So this. They asked me to stay 3 years, but forces that are stronger than me are now around the world. Forces which are very strong, so I cannot go and stay there anymore. So you need a good team, good place to work, and a lot of patience. This is very important. Yeah. It's very important. The team is important. The team is important. Good cooperation. And then you feel safe, and then you are doing good surgery, even in the difficult cases.
Yes. We have
don't fight. Don't fight. This is what I learned. So during my fellowship time, don't fight. I was fighting a lot to get resources for neurosurgery, but I let the families of the patients and the neurologists fight. So I didn't go inside the operation room if there was a fight. If I saw angry faces, angry eyes by the nurses, I told my fellows go and cool them down, then we can begin surgery. So I think Richard Asti from Istanbul was very good. He's now in New York. Was very good. He was going around in the operation room and telling the nurses fighting. The video anesthetist was telling you have the most beautiful eyes in the world. And in 5 minutes, every girl was laughing and we could begin the surgery. That can't go to memory. Good life.
Yeah. We have one comment or so from Ahan Ahmed. Thank you so much thank you so much for your presentation and your experience. I am preparing myself to be a neurosurgeon in future. Your explanation and experience made my future goals more clear. Thank you so much.
This is
also,
very nice, yeah. Because my last PhD student, Recai Behnam Yahromi, he came from the high school with 16. He was 16 years old. He came inside my operation room and then he has been shadowing me. It is now 16 years ago. He began to shadow me and now he's doing his PhD. He has 100 publications and he has goals which are high. But he became so interested. This is the same story. So you might think this is my profession, and I was always enjoying. I was never feeling that I'm working because I loved it. And when you love your profession, then easy, the heavy things are light. It doesn't feel so heavy to go in the night or operate on emergencies, or if you are loving what you are doing and learning, you are interested in it. It's not so hard. But of course, like I said, this is hard contact sport. You have to be in good condition and mentally and physically, so you cannot continue endless there. You have to see well, you have to be strong. And I said myself that as long as I can do handstand, I can operate on. But now there are so strong forces around, I can not fight them, and I can. It's very important what you need to do neurosurgery. You need a good place, you need heroes, you need a mentor, you need friends, and you need a good team. So there are many things which are needed to do good neurosurgery. And you ask about the opening. There are many different ways to do food or to do neurosurgery. So adapt the best ways for you to see in your patients the results.
Okay, Jakob, I think you passed some of the comments. Erkin Özgür, let me read for you.
Yeah, sure. I will read.
Erkin Özgür, also he was a fellow of Juha Hernesniemi. Erkin Özgür, maybe Erkin want to talk himself.
Erkin.
Erkin.
I just feel embarrassed. Nice. There is no comment to do. I listen to and learn again and again and again. Do not fight in the ORB. Every word is a lesson. And your humor, all the blood was coming from Helsinki, from the AVM. I only respect you and send you my greetings, Professor.
Thank you,
also,
Erkin.
yeah, thank you very much.
Now, one day I will come to Antalya.
Excuse me.
One day I will come to İzmir, and one day I will come to Antalya.
Yeah,
yeah. Bodrum.
We can show you around. Okay,
yeah.
I want to hear.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Erkin.
Thank you, Erkin. Thank you.
And I want to hear from two neurosurgery, women neurosurgery professor. First, Pınar Özışık. Second, Madonna Akobadze. But first, before them, I want to read one question and one comment. Ertan Sevin from my clinic says, thanks, Professor, for your presentation. Dr. Ertan from İzmir, Turkey. And there is one question from Mehmet Seçer. Oh, did you read that? Do you use sodium thiopental before temporary clip? Mehmet Seçer, Alanya Training Hospital. I think you didn't ask this question. Jakob, did you?
Yes. No.
Okay. Professor Hernesniemi, do you use sodium thiopental before?
There was a time it was popular to use, but then I learned that I'm doing so fast temporary clipping and treating the aneurysm, so we were not using.
Okay.
I think, but I said that there are many tricks in our anesthesia team, so I should maybe ask them that they write down all the secret tricks, because the brain was slack. This was really like in the Romanian patient who had a terrible bleeding in the onyx embolization. So when I went to open the head, so the brain is slack. Even there's big hematoma, and the patient's pupil is white, big. So it is, I don't know, but I appreciated so much, respected so much their work. And this is, of course, everywhere. So it is, and one thing is good. So I remember once I was operating in Latin America. So I asked about the blood pressure to anesthetist. He said, "Do your own work. I will do my work." So this is not good, because we are a team taking care of the most important person in the operation, and this is the patient. This is not so that you can say that way. So this is good cooperation is important. This is very important. And I think in a smooth way we are having good results. And
Okay. Also, Tomek comment that thank you. That I had a pleasure to work with you in 1996. He is mentioning he worked with you in 1996. Tomek.
Eastern Finland.
Okay. And Pınar Özışık, she is the first woman neurosurgeon, professor, and became a dean in a medical faculty in Turkey. I want to hear her thoughts. Okay.
Hi, good night, everybody. Dr. Hernesniemi, thank you very much for your excellent presentation. One of my best friends, Dr. Ayşe Karataş, was one of your fellows in Helsinki, and so she is very big fan of you, and I have been listening about you from her for a long time, and thank you very much, especially your philosophically also your presentation is very enthusiastic. Thank you. And it was good for me because for a long time I didn't see any combined transsylvian and subtemporal approaches. Nobody is talking about it, and thank you very much. It was good to see when you are doing this again, and it is a very good approach, I think. Thank you. We have been learning still, and it is a long life education, neurosurgery. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your kind words. I will tell you what I was a fellow of late Professor Drake and Peerless. Professor Charlie Drake was saying always that the girls are not good for neurosurgery. This was the only thing I didn't believe. So I took many females in Finland for training. So nearly half of the female neurosurgeons in Finland are females. So this is, I didn't believe what he was saying. He was a wonderful man. He was excellent neurosurgeon, good medical doctor, but also a good human being. But this was in this thing he was wrong.
Yeah.
Because he was saying that female girls are not good for neurosurgery, smoking his pipe. So I didn't believe that. I always say that obey learn from your seniors, but don't believe everything. This is very important, because if you believe everything, then you are doing 30, 40 years in research and you are doing always the same thing.
Yeah,
So you should
actually,
think.
I am one of the oldest women neurosurgeons among the women neurosurgeons in Turkey, but the number is getting increasing, so it is very good. But I think the success is coming with the actually I am when I was a resident, I have listened Dr. Yaşargil was giving a lessons in one of our annual congresses, and he told that, but I was young, maybe first or second year of residency, and he was talking about his house in Zurich, and with a big garden, with a forest near, and you know, butterflies and the flowers inside the garden. So he told everybody, said that he is not understanding about and thinking about the flowers and butterflies because he's getting into neurosurgery too much. And at that time, I have thought that I will not be like him in the future. But now I am only thinking about neurosurgery. And when, you know, it is almost 11 p.m. in now in Ankara, and we are still listening. We are thinking about the aneurysms and AVMs and everything. And tomorrow morning I will go to the operation. And so this is neurosurgery. This is our life, actually. When you are the most getting into the neurosurgery, so you will be happy. And if you are happy in the operation room, so the success is coming, actually.
This is, I totally agree. This is like those who are doing parachute jumping, they say
Yes.
This is the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah.
When you jump down, to do brain surgery is by far more better. You get more kicks, and the flow situation is by far higher, because there's one person more in the operation room. This is the death. Standing in the corner of the operation room. There's always death. This person is always standing there. This is making the flow situation totally different than if you are doing parachute jumping or bungee jumping. So this is unique situation. So I have always enjoyed, even in the hard days, I've always enjoyed and could manage, and this needs a good, usually it needs a good surroundings. When Dr. Drake died, 98, and PLS was giving a talk that how to become excellent neurosurgeon. So what is his advice? Number one, select the right wife or husband nowadays, and then work hard and learn another. So I think the family around you is the most important thing, because it's extremely hard sport. So the family is important around you. This was his advice. I think this is a very good advice, because this is really a hard contact sport. You need support. You need mentor in your clinics. I had a good one, Dr. Pakarinen in Helsinki. I could tell all my personal troubles, neurosurgical problems to him, and he was smoking his pipe and telling, Juha, this is only training of our mental strength. You have to tolerate everything. He was always telling, and then you have to have some friends around. You can tell your troubles, problems. You should not go to social media to tell everything what happens to you. You should have some friends you trust, and then it makes your life easier. This is important. Thank you very much for your wise comments and advice. And you
Thank you very much.
Look very young, lady.
No, I am not.
But you are, so, but,
I am older than
I had
Ayşe.
Ayşe Karatas and Emela Afsi was also in Helsinki several times. So it's for the Turkish females. And like I said, I trained big number of females and they became very good neurosurgeons. So Dr. Drake was totally wrong in that.
Thank you very much for all of us. Thank you.
We thank Pınar Özışık, first dean in Turkey as a female neurosurgery professor. She became the first dean in medical school in Turkey. And now I will give the floor, with your permission, Jakob, to Madonna.
Yeah.
And I will say,
He's also a neurosurgeon.
Andrew, please don't go anywhere. Andrew Netluk from Ukraine, from the war zone. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Madonna.
Good evening. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm last year neurosurgeon of the last year of my residency. I'd like to express my sincere and the deepest gratitude. It was an amazing journey you shared with us, and thank you so much. You continue to inspire so many generations. In the beginning of the lecture, I was attending with my students, and like they said that it was the best Halloween night they ever had. I could literally hear their heartbeat when the aneurysm ruptured, when the AVM ruptured, and like they were shocked and gasping. And when you put eclipse, I could hear I could see their sparkles in their eyes. So you continue to inspire so many generations, and I wish you to continue for a long, long time in health and prosperity. So as to my question, just like Dr. Iago mentioned, we live in the in the bridging era where the open neurosurgery is declining and endovascular is on the rise. So what is your advice to us, like to young neurosurgeons? Like, should we feel belittled if you have small experience in the endovascular neurosurgery, or like what is your advice in this part? And like I share your sentiment about the open vessel surgery. I think like if you are good in it, I think there is no obstacle for a neurosurgeon. And my student wrote in a chat section, I think you didn't read the question about adenosine. How often do you use it, and like what are the indications, or how often do you actually use it? Thank you so much.
So adenosine I love to in the last years in Helsinki, because if you have anal rupture, or you were suspecting that the anus might rupture, you can see it from the anatomy and location, you can see it. So the anesthetists, they had the syringe ready with adenosine. And then I was swearing, it meant now we have to fight. And then we were totally silent, they just pushed adenosine, and then the circulation stops and you can stop the bleeding. It was extremely effective. So I think I was using adenosine more often than not. But in China, I asked to use it, but in China, they have terrible atherosclerosis. Why? They were eating very fatty food, pork everywhere. Then the males were smoking. Every person was smoking. And then maybe some genetic heavy pollution, many things. But the first operation I made was a Sylvian fissure glioma, 30 years old male, had terrible atherosclerosis, 30 years old. And I could never use temporary clips in China because they had such a heavy atherosclerosis. So, but the chief of anesthesia was also saying that you cannot use it, adenosine, because they are cardiac sick and their pulmonary function is so bad. So I was rather helpless without these temporary clips and adenosine. I was not able to use. How to train nowadays? Nowadays you have many models already done to learn you can train with them. I don't know if they are so effective. Maybe it's like children are playing, but you are learning by playing if you do something. But I think okay, if you have the possibility in your city or place to go to cadaver lab, you can learn a lot if you don't stay all your life in the cadaver lab, because the cadaver brain is totally different than the living brain. Living brain is soft and pulsating, and cadaver brain is not. In Little Rock, they had the pulsating brain by Abbott, so connected to cardiac pump. We made that also in Helsinki, but the cadaver lab was 10 kilometers away from the neurosurgical clinics, so it was seldom we would go. Like Valley Krista is very good. The cadaver lab is in the same house, so you can go there, dissect, and you can go to operation room. This is the best organization, of course, but and then you can learn. I don't like anymore to do surgery in animals, because somehow I was doing a lot of surgeries in cats and rats, but then I had own dog. I learned that also the dogs are good human beings, and so I don't like to do animal experiments. So somehow you get softer with aging. So I cannot answer these questions. Life is giving answers, and how I always say that do that way that you have the best results, and you see in the patients. You see in the patient if they are doing well and happy and not suing you, then you are doing well. And if you have, when you go to bed, you have good conscience, you have done your best for the patient. If you have good conscience, then this is important, that you can put your head with good conscience on when you begin to sleep. Actually, I have to say that you have, as a neurosurgeon, you have always bad conscience. You have the feeling that you have made something wrong, or personally wrong, or wrong decisions, or made something wrong. But I think this belongs to the game. So it is a heavy job, but also you will enjoy it very much. But I think one of the things is to enjoy that you can do something with your hands. You are not operating with your hands, you are operating in your brain, but your hands are something to help you. Beautiful micro instruments all the time, good development. So you see it all the time. It's wonderful that last Monday I was showing the slide. Younger generation is always getting better, and this is biology. So in sports, in music, playing, you can see the 100 meters running, how the time is going always down. Not much, but it's going down. Always someone else. New Usain Bolt is coming, and you will see that the younger generation are always doing better because they find different solutions. Even I'm doing open microsurgery. Guido Guglielmi is a very good friend of mine. We are writing emails, so this belongs to life. So I can recommend to do what you like, where you are good, and if you love to do both, then do it. And this, of course, it is also the system. So it is you have to be able to do both if you want to have the patients like in a country like USA, or you cannot do only one way. I have never a patient in Finland who refused to do surgery. In China, they were going around and asking many opinions, what we call shopping. In Finland, they were trusting heavily. This is the difference. as compared to many countries. And the difference is also that the families are everywhere. Like in Turkey, the families are involved. They come to the hospital in the Southern Europe, in Turkey, everywhere. In Finland, it is so cellular. They call, how is my mother doing or my husband doing after surgery? And this is different way. I never understood that, but only the Romas, the gypsies in Finland, they come as big family. Always when one gypsy is sick, then the whole family, 20, 30 people are coming to the hospital. It's not very well accepted, but I like them. I learned one important lesson from them. There was a young gypsy woman. She had a big meningioma on the left side. Beautiful long hair. At that time, all the hair was shaved. So this female and the whole family was saying, "This we go away. We don't want to have this kind of operation." And then I learned from them. Okay, I just take a little bit hair away, and after 1982, I have never shaved all the hair. In China, it's like criminal that they take the beautiful Chinese hair away. I think in Turkey, we're not doing that anymore. I don't know what are the habits, but for the females, like the Turkish females have also beautiful hair. It is certainly big trauma. In this way, the endovascular surgery, if you are shaving the patient, so of course this is big advantage by the endovascular because they are not touching the hair. I think this is one important thing. This is how you are doing so. But do so that the surrounding and patients and families are happy. And usually in this strong tradition of open microsurgery, just continue, don't be ashamed of that if you are doing that, because I still believe that the perfect slip on the base of these deadly sacs is the best solution. But the skills are going down, so it is difficult to find those who are putting the clip around these deadly sacs. So it is difficult because this needs a long learning curve, and endovascular surgery is an option. I still always suspect that the clip is cheap and the best solution. Yeah, I cannot answer. Let's see in 10 years what happens. In 10 years or 20 years, maybe I have 20 years left. So we will see. I will see the solution.
I think we'll increase clipping rates because of revascularization.
I totally agree with you. But
flow diverters in ICA will improve because it's coming new flow diverters. But from young patient, anterior circulation, I think MCA clipping is no doubt has.
Young patients should have open microsurgery, like I told about. But even this young patient I was telling about with the carotid bifurcation, small aneurysm, she had some vascular anomaly. So in 7 years after beautiful surgery by me and observed by Dasarkil, she had a giant aneurysm developed. So we have to make good follow-ups. Then we know what's happening with the patients. But I think you should not be ashamed if you are doing clipping. People are saying that this is nothing. So it is important that you are self-confident and take seriously what you are doing, because you are dealing with human beings. So this is they have only one life.
If I have small time, I want to show you one small case just to ask your opinion. dear Hassan. We have small time.
Sure.
So
Can I share?
Thank you for answering.
Madam, I want to thank.
Thank you for answering. If you ever decide to come to Georgia, we'll feel honored to host you.
I
And
will
I
come.
can assure you that you will
I'm
not
already
be
invited.
like in
I
China.
have seen in internet. I was searching for Georgia. It's the most beautiful country.
Thank you so much.
Adana, are you in Kutaisi also? No, okay.
Do you see my screen?
Yes.
We had this patient. It's like 54 years old female, sudden onset of headache, subarachnoid hemorrhage, Hunter 3, Fisher 4, like this kind of hemorrhage. Mostly in a posterior, like posterior fossa. Acute hydrocephalus. We put EVD and then we perform DSA, and it's a left vertebral artery after vertebral left vertebral artery injection. You can see vertebral basilarity huge hole with vertebral basilar junction huge hole like this. It's a left vertebral artery. It's a right vertebral artery. In this case, is this something for we can do some from open surgery? Do you think?
I have done. Even I went to Italy, to Padua, to operate on that kind of young female. They didn't have any money. So I went there, I put temporary clips on the vertebral arteries and about it. And
subtemporal approach? Subtemporal or posterior, from posterior fossa? I
made a presigmoid approach to
presigmoid, okay.
Presigmoid.
Okay.
It is it was 2000. It is more than 20 years ago. She was very young. She was 20 years old. I made first 2 warm-up cases, one MCA and AVM aneurysm the same day with my Japanese fellow Keisuke Ishii, and then I had my scrub nurse from Helsinki with me, and then very good Italian neurosurgeons and team, and then we operated on her. It was big aneurysm. It was like butterfly aneurysm because these aneurysms are born. There is a fenestration.
Yeah.
There's a fenestration, so I put the temporary clips, so below the aneurysm, and then changed upwards, put temporary clip there, and then with the help of temporary clips, I could clip. It was a butterfly aneurysm, so it was on both sides. So I could clip both. I think she's doing well. Nowadays, you push a stent there. This is not helpful.
What about patient? Patient was good condition after the operation. It was a rupture or unruptured case. Your case was a rupture.
It was unruptured, but it was compressing the brainstem. It was buried inside the brainstem. So she was doing perfectly. I was more afraid. I was thinking that she might have swallowing difficulties, but she was doing perfect. So I was surprised. She was doing perfectly. I met her several times, 1 or 2 years after operation. She came to restaurant to eat, and then now I had to. She was telling that she was first English teacher, but then she began to work in the library, and now she married a professor from USA. So she's doing extremely well. I have operated, of course, these are rare aneurysms. Like I told my last PhD student, is İzmir Yahromi. He's making his PhD soon ready. Will come next year out. he has a collection of 500 of these, mainly atherosclerotic giant aneurysms. This is certainly a saccular aneurysm, I think.
Yeah, it's saccular, but it's giant. It's more
Yeah,
than
it is giant.
yeah. What's
My
about
case-
perforators? What's about perforators? How you can dissect from aneurysm dome?
Yeah, I would go only to this aneurysm dome is inside the brainstem.
Yeah, brainstem.
You should not dissect that. You should go only to the base. Put the fenestrated bit,
Okay.
and after that, long strong clip. So you close the hole in the fenestration. This was the strategy of Dr. Drake, and I was successful with that. But these are only pictures. You are taking care of the patient, so this is big responsibility. It's not easy operation, but I have done not big number because this is one of the most seldom. Vertebral junction aneurysms are most seldom, but I was studying all the cases of Dr. Drake and PLS, so I had operated many cases in my brain, so I knew. I didn't hesitate to go there. I didn't at all hesitate. I was
appreciate maybe just two guys can do such kind of cases in the world. It's extremely very difficult.
This is difficult. For those atherosclerotic aneurysms, we developed the so-called slow closing clip. It is also inside the bedside aneurysms for those big atherosclerotic cases, which are like all the vessel is diseased. We developed a slow closing clip. The idea is what I learned from Dr. Craig was that we put close slowly the feeding artery, vertebral artery or basilar artery where the giant aneurysm is beginning. You close slowly. He was using that kind of. He put a tube and there was a lasso inside it, so he was slowly closing the artery, so feeding artery. So this, can you show back the picture? See there, this is giant aneurysm. Yeah, I would do that way. Because this part is inside the brainstem.
Yeah, it's brainstem.
So you cannot dissect. You have to just close the base, and the base is coming from the fenestration. You can push stents there. It will come back. It will not be. Then you can do bypass above and close. Yeah.
What was my plan? To put some coils inside of dome and flow diverter, and then deconstruction of to close vertebral artery to decrease flow inside of aneurysm dome.
There are many ideas, and this is aneurysm. Dr. Lawton was publishing them. He could decrease from 100% mortality to 70% or 80% mortality in these cases with bypasses and so on. This is extremely, if you do shunt, then the aneurysm is expanding.
No, we did shunt we did shunt before flow diverter, because flow diverter require antiplatelet therapy, and patient had acute hydrocephalus due to subarachnoid hemorrhage, and because it's need the clopidogrel aspirin before flow diverter, and that's why we put VP shunts and flow diverter. But actually, patient was very good. You can see flow diverter. the six months follow-up. Of course, for us, open surgery was extremely very hard and difficult. This kind of surgery, just maybe you can do, or maybe some guys in the world.
I was told from Oxford that I was 45 when I went to learn by Professor Drake and Peerless. I was told that at this age, this man seems to be happy to study operative cases of others, because I applied for a professorship. I was told by Dr. Picard that this 45 years old man seems to be happy to study cases of others. And I learned a lot. I operated every case of Dr. Drake and Peerless, close to 2,000 vertebral basilar aneurysms in my mind. And then I learned a lot. So I could do this single case I mentioned, but I have operated maybe 10 or 15 of vertebral basilar junction aneurysms. And next year, the PhD book from Reza Behnam Yahrumi is originally from Iran. The family is originally from Iran. He's an intelligent guy. He joined me, like I told, with 16 years. He came into high school, was interested to see something, how the brain surgery is done, so I took them also. He stayed and became a neurosurgeon, and it's been 16 years now with me. He's 32 now. He's making his PhD and has 100 publications. So if you get that hooked, like the Dean was saying, you enjoy surgery, if you get hooked, Pinar, you get hooked with that, because I think this is the, I didn't know anything about flow, but nowadays everyone is speaking about flow, feeling kicks of flow. So I think this is one of the very important, because the result can be so different. So I have many pictures of me, drawings of me, I'm sitting and looking worried or thinking what we are thinking. We are thinking, what have I done? We are waiting that the patient will awake without deficit. Sometimes it doesn't happen, and you don't know, sometimes you don't know what was going wrong, but you have to analyze all these cases. I would do here long time follow-up in this case. If it is a way, then you are happy, and then you found a new way to do it, but usually they come back whatever you do. So we had to, our solution was this slow closing clip. So you close the arteries very slow, and then they have new vessels are formed. In the dural muscles, the new vessels are formed, so they give a collateral circulation, and so you are not occluding. But no one can say that this is an easy case. There are no easy cases. You did well. I cannot say anything. We have to live forwards, be happy. If the patient is doing well, then you can be proud. One of the things is important, what I told always in China, there was a big flow of very difficult cases because of the big population. But they were not willing to publish because they didn't learn English. And they were not speaking English. So this is very important. Learn English. This belongs to good neurosurgeons, that you can speak English. It will be not changed. In the former times, German language was the language of science, but now you cannot change. So it's, Chinese are also publishing So in the big cities, they are speaking English, but in the heart of China, Zhengzhou, small city, 12 million people, like I call this countryside city. When we went lecturing there outside, I always ask how many people are living here. So they said, this is a small city, 5 million. So whole Finland has 5 million people. So it is a totally different game. And, I think you made good solution in this case. If it stays, then it stays. But we will see when the Dr. Recai Jahromis, Mehnam Jahromis PhD is ready. He has more than 500 cases in this PhD. It's published also those natural outcomes. It's very bad outcome in these cases. These cases without treatment. So I cannot say what is right here. We found different solutions. And I have done.
Yeah. Also, flow diverters in this region has very bad outcome. Radiological outcome is very bad, and also neurological outcome is very bad. Very good outcome for flow diverter has extradural region. I mean, V1, V2 segment here.
Yeah.
But in intradural flow diverter, posterior circulation nowadays has very bad results. And still maybe bypass has some space for this kind of, I mean, giant posterior circulation aneurysm.
We had in Helsinki Life Course, we had one of the best bypass surgeon coming from Sapporo, Tanikawa. We had the same solution that we were thinking that we make bypass in a young child. At the basilar trunk annulus, we could bypass was done, and then we occluded basilar. The child died immediately. So this is very problematic.
Very problematic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extremely problematic. Like in Tanikawa, he's doing bypasses. He's like suturing like the skin. And the same counts for Xubin in Shanghai Huasan Hospital. He has done more than 10,000 bypasses. Young man, 50 years. That's excellent team. 17 bypasses in one day. No one believes that. You have to go there to see that the sign opens. These are the places you should go around. And like I tell, it is stealing the experience. But it is. There are many different kitchens in the world. You may all make food, but they make totally differently. So I think it's good to go around. This is to go outside of your comfort zone. This is very important. So this is very difficult to go abroad. It is extremely hard to go abroad. I know only one thing that is hard is to do a database. To do a database, you have to. This is so difficult. I made Helsinki, and I made a database also for Drake and PLS. So two big databases, and this is the hardest job. And this is what I regret most, that I did those databases, because it took so much time. So I didn't take so good care during this time with my family.
You mean videos? You mean videos? Just recording videos?
Database.
For patient database. Okay.
Patient database. I made the aneurysm database. Like I showed in the beginning of the lecture, we had in the database there are more than 18,000 patients with 21,000 aneurysms, and with 100% follow-up in our country. So this is what you cannot achieve anywhere in the world. You cannot use, if you operate some people from the Eastern Turkey, you will never see them. And there are complications that happens with the embolization, and you will never see the patients even if you have decided that you make a follow-up in 5 years. Like I remember in Serapasa Hospital, there was a young girl. She wanted to, her only wish was to marry. She was 18 years. And then she had an AVM that was unexembolized, a very skillful endovascular surgeon, but she had a hematoma. She became unconscious suddenly. Then was taken upstairs and the AVM was taken out. She had homonymous hemianopsy, but she was happy that she could go home and marry. This was her only wish. I remember so clearly. She was a beautiful young girl. Her only wish was to get married. And she was going to die because she was deeply unconscious suddenly, but to take the hematoma out helped. I was not operating on it. It was one of the Serapasa doctors, but I was witnessing him. Yeah, this when you open your mind and your memory, so you remember so many good cases, and you have seen so much, and you cannot tell everything. And I was writing my memories in China. I had only my brain to tell the stories. When my memories are translated in English now, in 2 weeks they should be ready, and then translated in different languages. I hope it will be a helpful book, because I was writing it with the blood of my heart. You understand what I mean? I was seriously observing my 50 years in neurosurgery, and I remembered so many difficult cases. And also it was censored, because in China you cannot say anything, so I wanted that it will be translated also in Chinese, because they invited me to stay with them. They gave a good salary, and even it's totally different society. So I'm thankful that they gave me extra time to do my beloved neurosurgery. But now the situation is so that I have to estimate that I made my work, I wrote my memories. And even I was invited to go to USA. It is very difficult to get the license to operate. At the Mayo Clinic, I'm adjunct professor. This means that I could go to teach there, but I'm not allowed to operate. The same with Louisville, where my colleague in China was coming. They invited me to join them. I will not do surgery there. Why? Because I don't have my team there. I don't have the team that is speaking the same language, same surgical language than me. So this is very important. So this is like your own kitchen. You can cook, but if you go somewhere else, you cannot cook there. Another country. So you have to have your own people. So I think we can continue this discussion very long. It's philosophical discussion, it is moral discussion, ethical discussion. But I think important is that you have a goal. I think this song, El Condor Pasa, which you can find in internet, is beautiful. And there's a beautiful video of this, this, I don't know if you can. But painting here.
Something happened.
Can you see the painting here?
Yeah.
Painting, not whole. Yeah.
This is the eagle. Eagle, El Condor, Pasha, and this is me. And my family is there in the background. This painting. So this was my thinking and idea. This is my goal, to be like El Condor Pasa, to fly high. And I try to fly high and I was successful in that way that I became professor in Helsinki. It was when I went to Helsinki from Zurich, where I was studying medical science. My goal was one day to become professor, but as resident, I couldn't say. I had to seal my lips, just work hard. And when I went to Helsinki to become neurosurgeon, the first things were I was told, you will not become rich, you will not get a working place in Finland, they will not get famous. These three things were told me in the first days. But I didn't care because I had been abroad. So I was thinking if I specialize here, I can go somewhere else in the world. But the first thing, you will not get rich, this was true. Because in Scandinavia, you are not paid so much for neurosurgery, but I enjoyed neurosurgery extremely much. So it was not the most important thing, money. We had enough money for the family, and we didn't need more. I loved my work, and like I said, I never felt I'm working. But I also enjoy now that I don't have to wake up so early. I'm worried more about you. You have tomorrow working day. You have tomorrow working day. It's late. You might have surgeries and short sleeping. I was sleeping extremely short. I read in the biography of Professor that he was sleeping every second night sometime. Professor Yasaki. This one I have never done. I was sleeping 4 or 5 hours when I was chairman in Helsinki. I woke up 4 o'clock and then made a strong coffee, read the newspaper, and then I went to office and then made all the paperwork. And then I escaped the operation room. Why? Then administration couldn't catch me with the calls and cellulars and so on. I was out. He's in operation room. It was my safe place for me. Actually, my office was in operation room. Everybody could come there to ask questions. I had no office time, so this was my strategy. And I was operating as many cases as they were coming. And then in the evening, I was so tired I couldn't do any paperwork. But then I went to sleep, and sleep gives power. Then in the morning, I had the power, energy to do the paperwork again, 2-3 hours, and then I was ready to go to operation. Somewhere I found always the power to do one more case, because when I was preparing the head, making minimal shaving, putting the skull clamp, so like energy was coming there, and those who were following me, they were more tired than me. But of course, it was hard. I was told that you will kill yourself. The seniors were telling me that when I was operating so much, they were telling that you'll kill yourself. But I was saying what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I was successful in that way. I don't think that I was suffering anything from my hard working, and I was taking good care of many things. And like in all the discussion when I'm interviewed here in TV in this small country, the feedback is this man is crazy. He had no life. He was only working. But I know many people also in my country who were always only working and had simple life, only working. Sister Teresa in Kolkata, she didn't have any life. She was just working for other people. She was very well respected. Why not the neurosurgeon then? Because we are different culture, different times. But I didn't care so much about those talkings, and because I thought I'm doing good work, sometimes failing, and failures you have to manage. Brain and heart, and we saying that we are carrying big how do you say summaries where you check.
Professor, sorry, people are going, and some questions. There are some questions we have to.
I'm eager to.
No, there are some questions in the chat part, and we have to ask all the questions. As
Just do what we have. Big cemeteries in our heart and soul and shoulders. If you operate on many cases, so you are losing some cases, and they follow you. When you get older, you think, why I lost this patient. So you remember all those cases better than those cases which just come and go home and go back to work, and they forget. But then we have those patients who were lost or badly hurt, and they remain in our soul and mind. This is one of the things when you are finishing neurosurgery, like me. Actually, my neurosurgery was stopped by the big powers I cannot resist. I cannot be stronger than China. I cannot be stronger than Russia. And because the flights stopped over Russia, so it's very difficult to go to China because the flights make a big queue. Sometimes you have to accept that you have to do something else, and I have not really. I can say with shining eyes, even I'm 75. I can say with shining eyes, I can say that I had a wonderful life in neurosurgery, and also otherwise good life. Even I was hard working. So now they say to me that you should work 6 hours a day, 4 days. This is nonsense. No one can become with 24 hours work good neurosurgeon. You have to work hard. Like I know in Turkey, you are working hard, but I was told that.
Yeah, in Turkey they have a very good system.
Work smart, not hard. That people don't understand how demanding it is to learn neurosurgery. So you have to work hard. You have to spend your life, a lot of hours of your youth, and you cannot go around in the nightclubs. You have to spend your time in the operation room and learning anatomy and looking at the videos and assisting the older generation and learning. So this is the meaning of life, that we continue. We are standing on the shoulders of the older generation. So that's why we can go higher. That's why we can go higher. We should be extremely grateful for those who were teaching us. My heroes were Professor Yasaki, Drake, Peerless, Konovalov, Spetzler, many others. And then I have also young heroes now, because they become better. Like Subin, he was my student in Helsinki, but he became one of the most famous neurosurgeons in China. So more than 10,000 bypasses. This one no one can do in the world, because we don't have moya disease here like in China. You are not getting 1,000 cases of moya in all of Europe, but in Shanghai they are operating 1,000 cases. In Chengzhou, 600 cases a year. So it's different game. You have to adapt. So I just can tell that my colleague Hugo, who is now professor in Toronto, in 8 months he learned to do bypass. He was doing 150 cases in 8 months. Yeah, this is different places. That's why I always recommend to go around the world to see different kitchens, different places, to go outside your comfort zone. To be abroad is extremely hard. Extremely hard to be a fellow. It is extremely hard life, but you benefit so much. So 1/3 are brave, like Isaac Karatas came to me. Emil Afsi was short times with me, and so many others. More than 3,000 came to Helsinki. I learned a lot from them because they were, after surgery, they were asking me, why did you do so stupid? Not that way. They had respect. In China, they didn't have any respect. But when I was working continuously there, but I was criticized heavily, and this is the Chinese way. Chinese way to attack immediately when you are attacked. So you attack like a counter-attack. This is coming from the Mao Zedong times. And so there's a lot of things are going through generations. So Chinese people, and we should speak about neurosurgery, but what I noticed, the Chinese people are always hungry. Because I was thinking this is coming back from generation, because so many were starving there. Millions of people were starving, tens of millions were starving, and Mao's philosophy was that it doesn't matter if 100 million are dying, because we have 900 million left. This is the philosophy of this great Chinese leader.
Professor, I am very sorry, but it is after midnight, and we have.
Yeah, I understand. I was more worried about you than me.
Yeah.
You have a working day tomorrow.
Yeah, but people are going, and they want to hear your answers.
Yeah, of course. I can.
Your questions.
I can speak until morning. I can make. Just should I look on the set box or?
Yeah. Jakob, there was a
Yes.
question from Leah Papa Mikhail. I am not sure if it's asked. Did you?
Andrei
Andrei
Netliuk, yes?
No, Andrei has gone.
Hakan Karabagli.
No. Wait a minute.
Previous one?
Leah Papa Mikhail asked a question in 2 parts.
Okay.
Did you ask her question? And we are already 30 people. Maybe she can ask herself if you want. Also, Hakan Karabağlı asked a question. I want to thank everyone who wait here for 5 hours, more than 5 hours. Tonight, we broke the world record for sure. I don't think anyone else who gave a lecture more than 5 hours. I don't know, and I don't believe.
We have to ask Professor has maybe made.
Maybe.
Has maybe made.
And
But anyhow, so it was. I can thank you very much. It was great pleasure to be with you.
No, we will take questions. Still, questions.
Okay, good.
We are not going anywhere. Okay.
From Hakan.
Hakan Karabağlı maybe ask himself this question.
Okay.
Hakan Karabağlı, Professor.
Yes.
Did you speak?
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for excellent lecture. I am curious about the pediatric AVM. What are you thinking about that? Do you have any different surgical policy about the pediatric AVMs, Dr. Hernesniemi?
And one of the things is that the pediatric AVMs may recur. This belongs to the pediatric AVMs. They may recur, come back. But I think, if they are superficial, you should operate on. open microneurosurgery. If they are deep, then you should do endovascular. In China, they were extremely good in occluding with onyx or some other materials, the deep thalamic AVMs. Like I saw 2 cases, they would, yeah, I think they could do it with endovascular. So these were old cases.
You mean you can choose before the surgery endovascular embolization for pediatric AVMs?
There are different skills also in endovascular surgery. There are different skills, of course, also in open microsurgery. If you are skilled in endovascular surgery, like those in my hospital, some of them were, they could do like miracles, occlude the whole central AVM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were good. They were good. So it's
Thank
but
you.
of course, if the AVM is superficial in good place, frontal or temporal, I would operate on. Microsurgery is better.
I see.
I have the youngest patient I have operated with AVM pediatric was 3 months old, had a bleeding. I think this was difficult because when you were sucking around the AVM, you were sucking actually the soft brain out. But this was difficult because the brain was undeveloped. But I think there are 2 options, both are good. Irradiation you cannot use.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Professor Hakan Karaboğlu. And Jakob, there is one thanks. Andre has gone.
Andre gone.
Has he come?
Okay.
Andre has come. I wrote a message from WhatsApp. He said I had to go outside. So, and
Sorry.
Andre is from Ukraine and he is joining our conferences from Lviv, from the war zone. I want to thank him. And also Ulaş Çıkla. Ulaş, are you here? Or have you slept?
No, still I'm here, sir.
Okay.
I hear only your voice. I closed my connection.
Camera has come. Okay.
Can you see?
Yeah, we can see you. Okay.
All right. That was an excellent lecture, as always. And I would like to thank you very much, not only for the great presentation, his experience he shared with great presentation, and also all his contributions to neurosurgery. He's a real, legend of living legend of neurosurgery. So I would like to thank you very much again for tonight, and also congratulate Dr. Suju for this great meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Teşekkür. Thank you very much. I was very happy.
And Deniz, would you like to say something? You are waiting here, and you know Turkish, I think. You can turn on your microphone.
Can I be heard?
I lost my connection. I cannot see you, but I can hear you well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just came from my duty. Was thinking about sleeping a couple of hours more, but it was worth every second.
Okay. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Madana, one last word. Okay. Okay. You can turn on.
I have no more words, just words of gratitude, limitless and continuous. And once again, I heard that you are planning to come to Georgia, and we will be honored to host you. Thank you so much for today. It was a memorable experience, unforgettable. And for the new young generation of surgeons, thank you. You inspire us, and please continue to inspire more and more generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fly high. Fly
Okay.
high.
Talking about the young generation, Shilan is with us. She is the 5th year medical student.
Thank you.
And she is standing in front of camera open for 5 hours.
Yeah. Well, I love the lecture, and I love the videos. Actually, I felt like I was in that operating room. Everything was clear. I totally understood, even though my anatomy knowledge is not very good. And you're a great teacher, I think. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Remember the song El Condor Pasa. The eagle flies high. So this is the goal. And you have great heroes in your own country, Professor Yasakil and Ugur Ture and many others.
Thank
They
you.
are big heroes in Turkish neurosurgery. So
Okay.
just fly high. So thank you very much. So I'm very happy that I could speak so long.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank everyone again, especially with camera open, and stay here for more than 5 hours. Thank you so much.
It was great
Thank you.
pleasure. Great pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Teşekkür ederim.
Professor. Thank you, Hasan. Goodbye.
Bye bye.